Life is not determined by what happens to you, but by how you respond to it. Every person faces challenges, disappointments, and setbacks. No one is exempt from trials, but the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not the situation, it is the response. You cannot always control what happens around you, but you can control what happens within you. Too many people live life blaming their circumstance for where they are. They say, if only I had a better childhood, I would be further ahead. If only they had supported me, I wouldn't have struggled so much. If only I didn't face this loss, I would be happy. But the truth is, it is not what happens to you that determines your future, it is what you do with it. Some of the greatest leaders, innovators, and influencers in history faced rejection, failure, and betrayal, but they refused to let their circumstances define them. They chose to rise above, to push forward, to believe that there was still more ahead. You may have been through unfair situations. You may have faced rejection from people you trusted. Perhaps you invested time, effort, and love into something that did not work out. But hear me today, you do not have to live as a victim of your past. You have the power to choose how you move forward. If you focus on what went wrong, if you meditate on the pain, if you keep reliving what they said or did, you will stay stuck in the very thing you are trying to move past. Consider this, two people can go through the same storm and come out with completely different outcomes. One is bitter, broken, and weighed down by the past. The other is stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. What was the difference? It wasn't the storm, it was the response. The first person chose to let the pain define them, while the second chose to let it refine them. The question is, what will you do with what you've been through? Will you let it make you or break you? Will you let it hold you back, or will you use it as fuel to push forward? You must decide today that no matter what happens, you will not let negativity take root in your heart. People may betray you, but you will not hold on to bitterness. Doors may close, but you will not live in disappointment. You may not understand why certain things happen, but you will not let doubt steal your faith. What happens to you is not as important as what happens in you. Life will always have challenges, but your attitude, your mindset, and your faith will determine your outcome. Some of you have been carrying things for too long: resentment, anger, frustration. You have been blaming others, blaming circumstances, even blaming yourself. But today, it is time to release it. You cannot afford to let your past dictate your future. You cannot allow negativity to rob you of your joy, your peace, and your purpose. Empty it out. Let go of what did not work out. Let go of what they said about you. Let go of the regrets and disappointments. Stop replaying the offense. Stop reliving the pain. Stop feeding the negative. Your destiny is too important to waste time dwelling on what you cannot change. If you want to see growth, if you want to move forward, if you want to walk into the future that God has for you, you must shift your focus. Stop looking at what you lost and start focusing on what is ahead. Stop meditating on the problem and start seeing the possibility. Stop waiting for someone to apologize for something to change, for the perfect opportunity. You have everything you need right now to start fresh, to move forward, and to embrace what is next. Some of you have been waiting for life to get better before you change your mindset. You say, when I get that promotion, I will be happy. When I meet the right person, I will feel complete. When things settle down, I will have peace. But the truth is, peace is not found in perfect circumstances. It is found in the right perspective. Joy is not something you wait for. It is something you choose. Faith is not just believing when things are good. It is believing even when things don't make sense. So what will you choose today? Will you choose to stay stuck in what happened? Or will you choose to rise above it? Will you choose to focus on what went wrong? Or will you focus on what can still go right? Your life is not determined by what happens to you, but by how you respond. Choose to respond with faith. Choose to respond with strength. Choose to empty out the negative and make room for what is to come. Now step forward with confidence. Your best days are still ahead. You are not designed to live weighed down by negativity. Every day you have a choice to hold on to what is hurting you or to release it and make space for what will build you. Life will always bring challenges, but you must decide what you allow to take root in your heart. If you are filled with resentment, bitterness, and disappointment, how can there be room for joy, peace, and progress? Too many people are holding on to things that no longer serve them: past mistakes, painful words, broken dreams. They replay old conversations, relive past offenses, and carry the weight of what went wrong. But the truth is, you cannot move forward if your heart is full of the past. You must make room for the new by letting go of the old. You must empty out the negative so that the positive can enter. Imagine trying to pour fresh water into a glass that is already filled with something bitter. No matter how much fresh water you pour, it will always be contaminated by what was there before. Your life works the same way. You may be asking for new opportunities, greater relationships, and a fresh start, but if your heart is still holding on to anger, disappointment, and resentment, those new blessings will be tainted by what is still inside. You cannot receive the new while holding on to the old. Some people wonder why they are stuck, why they keep repeating the same patterns, why they never seem to move forward. But the issue is not their surroundings, it is what they are carrying within. If your hands are full of yesterday's pain, you will have no room to receive today's blessings. If your heart is full of fear, you will struggle to embrace faith. If your mind is filled with negativity, you will not see the possibilities ahead. What are you holding on to that is keeping you from moving forward? Are you still carrying words that someone spoke over you years ago? Are you still allowing an old failure to define your present? Are you still living under the shadow of what went wrong? You must decide today that you will no longer be a prisoner to the past. You must choose to release it. Let go of the offense. Let go of the disappointment. Let go of the bitterness. Stop giving space in your mind to things that are stealing your peace. Stop rehearsing the pain and start declaring the promise. What is ahead of you is greater than what is behind you, but you must make room for it. It does not matter who hurt you, who betrayed you, or who walked away. Their actions do not have the power to determine your future, only you do. Holding on to resentment does not hurt them, it only limits you. Carrying negativity does not change what happened, it only robs you of what could be. The longer you hold on to what was, the more you delay what could be. Some of you have been stuck in a season of pain because you have not emptied out the negativity. You are asking for new relationships, but you are still carrying wounds from the last one. You want to step into new opportunities, but you are still doubting yourself because of a past failure. You are trying to walk in faith, but you are still feeding fear. It is time to let go. It is time to free yourself from the weight of yesterday. It is time to make room for what is ahead. Do not let what happened to you define what is possible for you. Do not let a temporary setback become a permanent mindset. Do not let one disappointment cause you to miss the future that is waiting for you. Release the hurt. Release the anger. Release the doubts. The only way to move forward is to let go of what is holding you back. You cannot change the past, but you can change your response. You cannot control what others did, but you can control what you allow to remain in your heart. The choice is yours. Will you continue carrying the weight of negativity, or will you empty it out and make room for the new? Will you remain stuck in what went wrong, or will you open your heart to what can still go right? Decide today to release the past. Choose to empty out the negative. Walk forward with faith, because your best days are still ahead. Whatever you meditate on grows. Your mind is like fertile soil. It will produce whatever you plant in it. If you fill it with fear, doubt, and negativity, those things will take root and shape your life. But if you fill it with faith, hope, and purpose, your life will reflect those things instead. You cannot expect to live a life of joy and confidence while constantly feeding your mind with thoughts of defeat and failure. What you focus on determines what you experience. Many people wonder why they feel stuck, why nothing seems to change, why every step forward feels like a struggle. But if they examine their thoughts, they would realize they are constantly rehearsing the negative. They wake up thinking about what went wrong. They go through the day meditating on what people said about them. They replay past mistakes over and over again in their minds. And without realizing it, they are watering seeds of discouragement, insecurity, and fear. You must understand that your life moves in the direction of your dominant thoughts. If you constantly think, I'm not good enough, you will act like someone who is not good enough. If you meditate on the idea that nothing ever works out for you, you will subconsciously sabotage opportunities. If you keep telling yourself that you are stuck, you will never take the steps to move forward. But the moment you begin to shift your thinking, your life will begin to shift as well. There is a principle that what you magnify becomes bigger. If you focus on your problems, they will seem overwhelming. If you constantly talk about your struggles, they will feel heavier. If you meditate on your weaknesses, they will grow stronger in your mind. But if you choose to magnify your strengths, your faith, and the possibilities ahead, you will find yourself rising above every challenge. Some of you have been meditating on the wrong things for too long. You have allowed fear to take up space in your mind. You have let self-doubt dictate your decisions. You have rehearsed failure so much that you expect it before you even try. But hear this today, you do not have to stay in that mindset. You have the power to change your thoughts, and when you do, your life will follow. Instead of waking up thinking about what might go wrong, start declaring what will go right. Instead of dwelling on who hurt you, start focusing on who supports you. Instead of meditating on how far you still have to go, remind yourself of how far you have already come. Shift your focus. Choose to dwell on what is good, what is uplifting, what is empowering. Fill your mind with thoughts of faith and expectation. You may not be able to control everything that happens around you, but you can control what you allow to stay in your mind. You do not have to entertain every negative thought. You do not have to accept every fearful idea that comes your way. You have the authority to reject what is not serving you and replace it with truth. Some of you need to stop meditating on failure. Stop feeding the thoughts that tell you you're not enough. Stop rehearsing the voices that said you wouldn't make it. Stop looking at the past as evidence that your future is limited. The past is over. What matters now is what you choose to believe, what you choose to dwell on, and what you choose to magnify. Do not let negativity take over your mind. When doubt comes, replace it with confidence. When fear arises, replace it with faith. When discouragement tries to settle in, remind yourself that you are still standing, that you have made it this far, and that greater things are ahead. Your thoughts are shaping your future. Your meditations are creating your reality. What you focus on will grow. So decide today, will you keep feeding the negative, or will you make room for the positive? Will you dwell on what went wrong, or will you meditate on what can still go right? The choice is yours. Choose to fill your mind with faith. Choose to meditate on possibility. Choose to empty out the negative and make room for the future, because your best days are still ahead. Letting go is not always easy, but it is necessary. Life will present you with disappointments, betrayals, and setbacks. People will hurt you, opportunities will slip away, and plans may not always unfold the way you imagine. But the weight of these experiences should not be carried into your future. Holding on to past hurts does not heal them. Carrying disappointments does not change what happened. The longer you hold on to what is behind you, the harder it becomes to move forward. Some people are stuck, not because they lack talent, not because they don't have opportunities, but because they refuse to let go of past pain. They are holding on to what someone said about them years ago. They are still reliving a moment of failure, allowing it to define their worth. They are carrying resentment towards someone who has long moved on while they remain bound by what happened. But hear this today, you were never meant to live trapped by the past. Too many people are dragging yesterday's weight into today. They wake up thinking about the disappointment. They go to bed rehearsing the pain. They replay conversations, relive the betrayal, rethink decisions over and over again. And instead of healing, they are reinforcing their wounds. Instead of stepping into new opportunities, they are chained to old memories. But you must understand, as long as you hold on to the past, you will never have room for the future. Think of it this way: if you are carrying a heavy bag in one hand and someone tries to give you something new, you cannot receive it unless you first put down what you are holding. The same is true in life. If your heart is full of anger, how can you receive peace? If your mind is full of regret, how can you embrace new possibilities? If you are focused on what you lost, how will you recognize what is still ahead? Letting go does not mean the pain never happened. It does not mean the disappointment was fair. It does not mean the people who hurt you were right. But it does mean you are choosing to no longer allow those things to control your present. It means you are refusing to let what was still what could be. Some of you have been waiting for closure before you let go. You are waiting for an apology, for an explanation, for someone to acknowledge the pain they caused. But what if that never happens? What if the person who hurt you never realizes their mistake? What if the opportunity you lost never comes back? Will you continue to live bound by the past, or will you decide today that your future is more important than your history? You must stop allowing what happened to define you. Yes, you were hurt, but you are not a victim. Yes, you faced setbacks, but you are not defeated. Yes, things did not go as planned, but your life is not over. You have a choice to keep carrying the weight or to release it and step forward. Some of you need to let go of the words that were spoken over you. Stop holding on to the opinions of people who never saw your potential. Don't stop replaying conversations that made you feel small. Stop meditating on the rejection, the betrayal, the closed door. The longer you focus on it, the deeper it takes root. But when you release it, when you let it go, when you decide that your future is more important than your pain, you set yourself free. You cannot change the past, but you can change your response to it. You cannot make people apologize, but you can choose to forgive them anyway. You cannot undo what was lost, but you can embrace what is still ahead. Letting go is a decision, and it is one you must make daily. So today, choose to release the disappointment. Choose to release the resentment. Choose to let go of what did not work out. Stop carrying what is weighing you down. Stop looking back at what you cannot change. Your destiny is too great for you to be held back by yesterday's pain. Empty out the negative, make room for the new, and step forward with confidence because your best days are still ahead. You cannot receive fresh water while holding on to a bitter cup. Life will always bring moments of pain, disappointment, and frustration. People will say things that hurt you. Situations will not always go as planned. Unexpected losses will come, but what you do with those experiences will determine the course of your life. If you keep holding on to bitterness, resentment, and negativity, you will never have space for the fresh things that God wants to bring into your life. Some people wonder why they feel stuck, why they are unable to experience peace, why joy seems so far away. The problem is not that life is unfair, it is that they are still holding on to what poisoned them. They were hurt by someone they trusted, and instead of releasing it, they hold on to the offense. They were overlooked for an opportunity, and instead of moving forward, they carry the weight of disappointment. They failed at something in the past, and instead of trying again, they hold on to the fear of failure. But as long as their hands are full of what was, they will never be able to receive what could be. Think about this. If you are holding on to a cup of bitter water, no matter how much fresh water is poured in, the bitterness remains. You can wish for a fresh start. You can hope for joy. You can long for peace. But if you do not first empty out what is already in your cup, there will be no room for something new. This is why so many people struggle to move forward. They are asking for a new season while still holding on to old pain. They want to experience love, but are still carrying wounds from past relationships. They desire success, but are still feeding thoughts of self-doubt and fear. They want to embrace a fresh perspective, but are still meditating on past failures. But you cannot pour fresh into something that is already full. You must be intentional about emptying out the negative. Stop holding on to the offense. Stop rehearsing what they said about you. Stop replaying the moment you were hurt. Some of you are carrying bitterness towards someone who has already moved on. You are holding on to frustration over something that is already in the past. You are dwelling on things you cannot change. But as long as you do, you will remain stuck. It is time to release it. Let it go. Empty out the bitterness. Empty out the resentment. Empty out the frustration. Life is too short to live weighed down by what was. What is ahead of you is too great to allow the past to poison your future. Understand this. Carrying negativity does not hurt the person who wronged you. It only hurts you. Holding on to offense does not change what happened. It only keeps you bound to it. Replaying the pain does not undo the past. It only robs you of your present. You cannot move forward while still chained to what is behind you. You must make a decision today to release what is weighing you down. Some of you need to forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Some of you need to let go not because it was fair, but because you cannot afford to carry it any longer. Some of you need to stop allowing old wounds to dictate your future, not because it did not hurt, but because your destiny is too important. Imagine what could happen if you chose to empty out the bitterness and make room for joy. Imagine how your relationships could change if you release past disappointments and embrace fresh possibilities. Imagine how much peace you could experience if you stopped carrying yesterday's burdens into today. You may have been hurt, but you do not have to live hurt. You may have been betrayed, but you do not have to live bitter. You may have failed, but you do not have to live defeated. Let it go. Free yourself from the weight of the past. Empty out the bitterness and make room for fresh joy, fresh peace, and fresh vision. Do not let what was keep you from what could be. Make room for the new. Release the old. Step forward with confidence because your best days are still ahead. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every offense needs a response. Not every negative thought should be entertained. Life is too short to spend your energy on things that drain you, on battles that do not matter, on people who do not add value to your life. If you are going to step into the future that is meant for you, you must learn to guard your heart, protect your mind, and be selective with your focus. Too many people allow distractions to steal their peace. They wake up thinking about what others said about them. They spend hours replaying situations that they cannot change. They let small offenses take up space in their mind, and minor frustrations ruin their entire day. But you must decide today you will not waste your energy on things that do not serve your purpose. You will not let negativity take root in your heart. You will not give power to things that are beneath your destiny. Think about this. If you have a limited amount of fuel in your car, would you waste it driving in circles? Would you spend it going down roads that lead nowhere? Of course not. You would be intentional about how you use it. You would make sure every mile is taking you closer to where you need to be. The same principle applies to your life. Your energy is limited. Your focus is valuable. Your time is precious. Do not waste them on things that will not take you forward. Some people are exhausted, not because of their work, but because of what they are carrying in their minds. They are tired because they are constantly fighting battles that do not matter. They are drained because they are engaging in conversations that do not build them up. They are distracted because they are giving attention to negativity, gossip, and unnecessary drama. But you do not have to live that way. You have the power to choose what you give your energy to. You have the authority to decide what deserves your focus. Stop giving space in your mind to things that steal your joy. Stop wasting your time on people who only bring you down. Stop entertaining thoughts that do not align with your purpose. Every time you engage in negativity, you are feeding it. Every time you dwell on offense, you are allowing it to grow. Every time you focus on what went wrong, you are taking energy away from what could go right. Some of you have been giving too much attention to the wrong things. You have been spending emotional energy on things that are not worth your time. You have been letting small things rob you of your peace. But today, make a decision. You will not allow distractions to control your life. You will not allow negativity to consume your thoughts. You will not give your energy to things that will not help you grow. You do not have to respond to every critic. You do not have to engage in every argument. You do not have to prove yourself to people who will never see your value. Some battles are not worth fighting. Some distractions are only meant to keep you from your purpose. Some people are only sent to drain your energy. The moment you realize this, you will stop wasting time on things that do not matter. Learn to walk away from negativity. Learn to ignore things that are beneath you. Learn to say, I will not waste my energy on this. Not because you are weak, but because you are wise. Not because you cannot fight, but because you know your purpose is too important to be sidetracked by unnecessary battles. Think of all the energy you could regain if you stop focusing on what drains you. And think of all the peace you could experience if you stopped allowing small offenses to take up space in your heart. Think of all the progress you could make if you redirected your focus to what truly matters. Your destiny is too great to be distracted by things that do not add value. Your purpose is too important to be wasted on negativity. Your future is too bright to be dimmed by unnecessary drama. So today, choose wisely. Protect your mind, guard your heart. Use your energy for things that build you, not for things that drain you. Do not let distractions steal your focus. Do not let small things rob you of big opportunities. Do not let negativity take up space in a heart that was meant for greatness. Keep your eyes on what matters. Stay focused on your purpose and walk forward with confidence because your best days are still ahead. You were never meant to live burdened by negativity. Life is a journey, and along the way you will encounter challenges, disappointments, and difficulties. But you were not designed to carry the weight of worry, fear, and regret. You were not created to live with stress, resentment, or the heaviness of past mistakes. If you want to move forward, if you want to step into the fullness of your purpose, You must learn to release what does not serve you and embrace what strengthens you. Some people go through life carrying unnecessary burdens. They hold on to offenses, letting the words of others replay in their minds. They carry fear, always expecting the worst, always assuming things will go wrong. They cling to guilt, allowing past failures to define them. And without realizing it, they are weighed down by things they were never meant to carry. But hear this today, you do not have to live that way. You do not have to walk through life heavy with negativity. You do not have to wake up every day feeling drained and defeated. You have the power to release what is weighing you down and step into the freedom that is meant for you. Think about it this way. If you were climbing a mountain, but you insisted on carrying a heavy backpack filled with unnecessary items, the journey would be exhausting. The weight would slow you down, drain your energy, and make the climb far more difficult than it needs to be. Life is the same way. The more negativity you carry, the harder the journey becomes. The more burdens you refuse to release, the more difficult it is to move forward. If you want to climb higher, if you want to reach new levels, you must be willing to let go of what is holding you back. Some of you have been carrying stress that does not belong to you. You have been holding on to worries that were never meant to be yours. You have been allowing fear to take root in your heart, but you do not have to live like that. You can make the choice today to release it. Stop holding on to anxiety about things you cannot control. Stop carrying frustration over things that are already in the past. Stop letting fear dictate your decisions. The moment you release those things, you will feel lighter. The moment you decide to let go, you will regain your strength. Letting go is not about ignoring reality. It is not about pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about choosing not to let negativity control your life. It is about understanding that you have the power to shift your focus. You can choose to dwell on what is wrong, or you can choose to focus on what is possible. You can choose to replay past mistakes, or you can choose to move forward with confidence. You can choose to live burdened by negativity, or you can choose to walk in freedom. Some of you have been weighed down by guilt for too long. You made mistakes, but those mistakes do not define you. You have been carrying regret, but living in regret will not change the past. The only thing it will do is rob you of the joy that is available to you now. It is time to forgive yourself. It is time to stop carrying the weight of yesterday's failures. It is time to recognize that you are more than your past and your future is still waiting for you. The others have been burdened by the expectations of others. You have been carrying pressure to prove yourself, to live up to the opinions of people who may never fully understand your journey. But hear this, you do not have to carry that weight. You do not have to exhaust yourself trying to meet standards that were never meant for you. You are free to walk your own path. You are free to pursue your own purpose. The moment you release the need for approval, the moment you let go of the pressure to be perfect, you will experience a new level of peace. What would happen if you chose to release everything that is weighing you down? Imagine waking up without the heaviness of worry. Imagine walking through life without carrying the weight of past mistakes. Imagine being free from the burden of negativity. That freedom is available to you, but you must decide to step into it. Let go of the fear. Let go of the doubt. Let go of the stress. Do not carry what is not meant for you. Do not live weighed down by things that do not serve your purpose. Choose to walk light. Choose to walk free. Choose to empty out the negative because your best days are still ahead. As you move forward, remember that you were never meant to live weighed down by negativity. You were not designed to carry fear, resentment, or regret. Your future is too great, your purpose too important, and your destiny too significant to be held back by what was. Let go of the past, release what no longer serves you, and make room for the new. When you empty out the negative, you create space for peace, joy, and clarity. You make room for fresh opportunities, renewed strength, and a future filled with purpose. Choose to let go of what is weighing you down, focus on what truly matters, and step forward with confidence. No matter where you are in life, your best days are not behind you, they are ahead. Walk in freedom, embrace your purpose, and live with the expectation that greater things are coming your way. Good luck on your journey, and may your future be filled with limitless possibilities. Thank you.